Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So I want to talk about the 12-step program. And some of you won't be comfortable with that. And you know what? That's okay. I'm still going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it on how it's applied to my life. I'm literally going to break down the 12 steps and just talk about what a tremendous blessing it has been for me throughout the years. And I never had any shame. I was only grateful for all of the tools of that program until I got into the vegan community, until I started getting into raw vegan, until people started telling me that, well, you're naming it and claiming it. Well, you're, putting that on yourself, and you're obviously affirming that that's just true for you. So you're going to always be that. And it was like, wait, what? How did I just go from a terrific blessing that saved my life in many ways to I'm a total blowhead who's so insecure that I'm relying on those steps to be well? What? So, I've been a closet 12-stepper in this new vegan world. Dang it. And I am going to say I will use all the tools I need whenever I need them, as long as they're not detrimental to me. And it's a terrific blessing. So if you'd like to learn why the 12 steps have been a blessing and kind of break down them with me, and maybe even go through them with me, if it works for you, please stick around. And if not, peace be with you. And I hope you'll check back in at some point, because I'm going to stick with this topic for a little while. Okay? Anyway, so I'm Juliana. It starts out with, hi, I'm Juliana, an alcoholic. And I would say, hi, I'm Juliana, cross-addicted, alcohol, drugs, food, codependency. Just cross-addicted. It tends to be my way. And the leader for this meeting. All right, so anyway, you guys, years ago, like when I was about 20, I don't know, around 20, and then certainly when I committed to being in the 12-step programs around 23. So a long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Can anyone say a long time ago without saying in a galaxy far, far away? Anyway, this was I think one of my first big books. And this is the actual book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I got it at a bookstore. And you can tell it is tired. It's yellowed. And I got it for $3.60. And it's been well traveled. It went with me to New Zealand. It went with me to Italy. It went with me to China. I mean, I've often referred to this. It's full of a ton of amazing stories, convictions, and hot tips from the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, which are Dr. Bob, who was actually Bill W.'s literal doctor, his actual doctor, if not best friend and sponsor over time and everything else. But those two men founded this program, and it was all the way back in 1939. So a really long time ago, and I think I indicated there's over 30 million AA big books in print in every language, 100 in, whatever countries, if not all corners of the world. I think it's literally, I am not even going to talk to you, and you know it. You know Mama's doing her video, and that is not acceptable. Figure it out. Sorry. Anyway, 1939, and it's literally second to the Holy Bible. I'm quite sure that's true. All right, so that is Alcoholics Anonymous. And then in Alcoholics Anonymous, they broke it down to 12 steps. And so they have a smaller book called The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. And the 12 traditions are actually kind of the policy, if you will, on how to run a meeting and how to keep it objective and smart. It's just a great way. So this is the short form. From that came all other 12-step programs, and they simply replaced whatever for alcohol. And so for me, no doubt, one of them, I'm just going to say one, is Overeaters Anonymous. And much like the Alcoholics Anonymous, they reduced it to the 12 steps of Overeaters Anonymous, which again is all of AA, word and terminology, replacing it with food and compulsion to eat. And then also those traditions, which are part of that. So with that, I had some secondary books, and believe me, people, these are all available at any used bookstore. They're available online. They're inexpensive. I have them from years, so it's nothing I'm saying to run out and buy them all. But some secondary resources for that, which I really love, because overeating is one of my biggest ones, is this one, which is Hazelton's Meditation, and it's called Food for Thought, because it's literally about food. And this one, my favorite, is For Today by Overeaters Anonymous. And then second to all of that, believe it or not, I had One Day at a Time, which is for Al-Anon. And Al-Anon are for people who are not addicts, but they live with addicts. They're trying to understand addicts. And if they were being honest, they may have accidentally become addicted to caring for the addict, which is just inevitable, I think, when you're living with an addict and trying to understand them. So Al-Anon is a big one. And one of the ones that I think is by far the most powerful is Codependence Anonymous. And I've mentioned this before because I know that we are born codependent by nature, and that's okay. I mean, honestly, we have to be codependent to survive at birth, right? Every cry we do makes the mother's breast fill with milk, indicates that you need to be fed. We have this relationship that is absolutely dependent on another person in order to survive infancy, let alone childhood and everything else. But codependent is when it swings too far the other way, and it's when you literally are allowing somebody else to completely control your existence. You give all your power away. What I love most about Codependence Anonymous, and this wasn't much after I joined Overeaters Anonymous, what I loved about Codependence Anonymous was that it actually gave me permission to learn to say no. And I didn't know how to say no, like forever, okay? I thought I had to say yes to everything and everybody at the risk of what, disappointing them, hurting their feelings, seeming weak, whatever it was. And it was in Codependence Anonymous that I learned that no is a complete sentence. and that was really brilliant. I've been better at times in believing that. It varies. But there's other ones. There's Gamblers Anonymous. There's, Crackhead Anonymous. I don't even know. There's so many Anonymouses, but they're all built on those 12 steps. And these have been my primary ones. By far, codependence, absolutely, as a result of being codependent, acting out with my eating. So definitely Overeaters Anonymous. And then, second to all of that was Alcoholics Anonymous, which you can't get away from Alcoholics Anonymous because, again, all the words are simply replaced from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So the beauty about it being anonymous is, as I suggested, with my first sponsor, whom I will always be so grateful for, and his name was Tom. I never knew his last name. He changed my life. I spent a ton of time with him, like seriously. I went to meetings. They often recommend 90 meetings in 90 days. And what's so beautiful now is that meetings are available online. So you can truly be anonymous because, oh my gosh, you don't even need to be face-to-face. They have online meetings all over the world, and they're every 3 hours around the clock. They have face-to-face meetings, of course, where you literally go in your town face-to-face. And I loved that I was just able to go not only to Overeaters Anonymous meetings, but actually go on a retreat while I was in New Zealand. It's everywhere. And also they have phone meetings where you can literally listen in on the phone in a group. And all of those meetings, the structure is the same. And that's another thing I love to count on. That's why I love being Catholic, because, again, like Overeaters Anonymous, I can go to any Catholic church in the world, whether it's my language or not, and I know the exact process and the exact program. And that's what I loved. You're not going to get tripped up because they're going to follow those 12 traditions of running a meeting. They're going to rely on those 12 steps and getting you well. And then, in addition to all of that, they have different kinds of meetings. They have speaker meetings where there's somebody who has a testimony to share. They have big book meetings where they literally read out of the big book, a portion of it, and discuss it. They have One Day at a Time meetings, and I didn't share that, but I could share it again. they have For Today, which is that little book that I suggested. And just 1 second. I'm going to pause you 1 second. Okay, so I just wanted to get a couple more resources. And again, these are things that I got over time. It's nothing that you need to run out and grab, but you certainly could depending on what your focus is. So they have secondary resources that people came up with over time. And like one of them, this is called Came to Believe. And the first step is coming to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. And that whole focus is just on Came to Believe. And then like one of my favorite things in Overeaters Anonymous is that they have a magazine, if you will. It's called Lifeline. And this is one of my favorite ever. It's called the Lifeline Sampler. And it is just a couple hundred stories and testimonials that came out of that Lifeline. And I never get tired of reading those. And then like another one, I like to use journals, of course. And also those daily help books. So much like this one from Hazelton on Overeaters Anonymous, this is one called The Language of Letting Go, which is from Codependence Anonymous. And it is literally just daily thoughts on letting go. And so important because, oh my gosh, whenever I start getting crazy and sick to my stomach, and I told you guys, I've totally been so depressed and I've been wanting to run. That is lack of boundaries in my life. That is feeling suffocated. It's feeling like I don't have rights. Well, no one can take my rights away. I give my rights away. I mean, we literally teach people how to treat us, right? So if I've accidentally given my boundaries away and now I'm furious that a person isn't responding appropriately, that's not fair because I did not indicate to them any other way to treat me, right? So yeah, I'm realizing that I have been feeling like I'm suffocating and I'm just tripping out. And anyway, I've got all these resources out, which I've had this whole time, but that was another thing. I've been slipping it with my food, and I'm sure certain people wanted to say, Juliana, you look really tired. Are you tired or are you loaded from food that isn't yours? The latter, sadly, would be true. Nothing like I'm capable of, but too much for going from pristine to disappointed, just disappointed in myself. And so I was realizing that I stopped using some of my tools. And I do this, right? I mean, I was just on the road and completely clean. I just went through a huge emergency with my nephew, which isn't even over, and maintained throughout. And then all of a sudden, I started faltering, and I'm like, what is the problem? And also, why can't I get back on? And I was realizing it's because what is often true, I dropped my tools. Okay, yes, praise God, I did continue to write in my food journal. And I did continue to be honest and use my different colored pens and write things off the page. So that's one thing that I did do right, yay. I continued with my rosary. I continued with my water. But I was putting in food that didn't work for me and wasn't mine. And I realized in all of this, not only did I stop my 12-step programs, which have, again, carried me for years. And it's been a shame thing for me. Dang it. I can't explain it, but I went to this meeting. It was just a teacher workshop meeting. And I felt water shamed because everybody had reusable bottles and I had a regular one. You know, I ran out the door and I grabbed a 4-cup of water. I was desperate and everybody was looking like, whatever, she's using plastic. And I was like, don't water shame me. At least I'm drinking water. And not to mention, you don't know how many things I'm doing right in my life, okay? This is just like one thing you caught me on. But anyway, it was kind of funny. So it's the same thing. I was thinking, you know, I stopped affirming. I was doing affirmations for 15 minutes a day, talking about my body being strong and healthy and lean and disease-free, talking about that I eat plants and choosing this way of life and being completely content. I stopped doing my affirmations. And I have 50 plus years behind me of not eating in this way, right? And I only have a little over a year in attempting to go in this direction. So which one do you think is going to have more momentum? right? So anyway, I'm sorry that I bought into this idea that I'm suddenly weak or inept or using the 12 steps as a crutch instead of knowing that they were absolutely a tool from God. And the reason I knew it was a tool from God is the language of it, which is so beautiful, and also that it is anonymous, as is Mass. I can go to any Mass in the world and no one's going to stop me at the door and say, "What's your name and why are you here?" That's a no. I can go to any 12-step meeting anywhere in the world, and I don't even need to say. I could say, "Hi, my name's Lisa," if I want. I like the name Juliana, and I'm happy to proclaim it. But it's completely anonymous, and like with church and like with the 12 steps, it's by donation. And there were many times in my life that I did not have any money at all, but no one stopped me from attending. And when I did have money, I gave it. And that's exactly like all of the 12-step program is by donation only. And it's a program of attraction rather than promotion. They don't run out cheering to the world all of the amazing things. I mean, yes, of course, over time, these books and things have been developed by various people. But it's a program of attraction. And that's what an ideal vegan is. When somebody sees you and says, "Wow, why are you glowing?" People say that to me about my faith. They're just like, "Wow, I mean, there is nothing perfect about my smile. I've got gaps, but I don't go through a day and I'm not being, I'm not kidding you, and I'm not being, whatever it's called, arrogant. I don't go through a day that people don't say, 'Wow, I love your smile. Thanks for smiling at me. Gosh, you've got a great smile.'" And of course I'm thinking, don't look too close. But that is something I can give for free. And that is God's grace shining through me all the time. I cannot go anywhere in the world. And again, I've been many places in the world without someone saying, "Have we met before?" All the time in every venue. "Have we met before? Do I know you?" All the time. I can't even tell you. And I just smile and say, "No, there's no way we could have met. It's the Holy Spirit in me recognizing that spirit in you." I mean, straight up, and I just love that. So the 12-step program is one of those ones that's just built on straight up truth. It doesn't play any games. And if you can't afford it, come anyway, because it really is a gift of recovery. Much like if you're going to the right church, where it's just receiving the body and blood of Christ. And if you can donate, please do, to keep the church going. But even if it's in the basements of people's homes with bread and wine, it's going to go. It's going to still go. And it's the same thing with these 12-step programs. Once you have the truth, and the first 3 steps, which I'm going to go into in detail, are short form. I can't. God can, and I'm going to let him. So it's all about just surrendering and realizing that whatever we've been doing hasn't been successful yet, but that with some tools we could be successful. And again, this isn't going to appeal to some of you, and so I'm going to say, take care. Thanks for stopping by, but I'm going to spend some time in the 12-step program. So, okay, I've got all these things. I'm going to start sharing the magic. We'll start with step 1 tomorrow and a little more history of the 12-step programs. Like if you like. Join us if you haven't. Subscribe. You're welcome to leave comments below. And until we talk again, know that this is a great tool if you want more tools in your belt. All right. Know that I pray for you. And best of all, trust that you're blessed.